Hey everybody, what's happening? My name is Jamie Dean.
I'm Scott.
And today we are back doing another Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Playmates Classic Collection unboxing. This time of the Villains box. Look at that bad boy.
Freaking banger.
That is a fucking box, man. Like, look at it. That is so cool. What's that thing called? Do you remember?
Oh, it's the drill vehicle. I don't know.
The baddie driller.
I don't remember, but I do remember it being in the episodes. It was like a mode of transport because the Technodrome was underground, and so they had to drill to the surface, and it would always
be in this
pop up out of the ground.
Yeah.
And it'd like have a hatch, like a door hatch.
Well, you could buy this as a toy, couldn't you? I'm pretty sure if I remember.
This is a toy. This is just a toy, like the turtle van of the box for the turtles, the set of turtles. This is a toy as well.
Yeah.
I don't recall it being this big as the turtle
it wasn't
van,
this big.
though.
No, I don't remember. I never had one.
I never had one,
but I don't think it was this big.
I wanted one. I wanted one.
Well, we wanted it all, didn't we? You know?
Oh, yeah.
But that's the fucking coolest box.
That.
Yeah. So this has got 6 figures in the box as a set of villains. I'm blanking on who's in there. I think we can see them on there. We got Bebop, we got Rocksteady, we got Baxter Stockman, we've got Slash, we've got Krang, and we've got the Foot Soldier. That's it.
So how many is that?
6.
So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay.
Yep. So we're gonna tear this open. We're not tear this open. We're gonna very carefully and gently open this box, and then we're gonna give you a look at everything that's inside. Yep.
Give me a heart attack. Yep. All right.
Go for it, my friend.
Okay. So let's. Well, clearly we can't open it from the nose.
No. Not without doing some serious damage.
To that freaking sweet. And, like, that's something I love that they did. They made the point to make the nose 3D.
Yeah, that's
They
pretty cool,
didn't have to. They could have just kept it like the rest of it.
It would have been easier, much easier for them all not to do that.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. But they decide,
didn't.
let's make it something special.
Yep.
Something special. So here we go.
Here we go. So we're just going to be cracking open this box and showing you the figures on the card inside. We're not going to be actually opening them off the card in this particular video, just because it's going to be a mess and take a long time. But I will put some footage over the top so you can actually see the figures loose in all their glory, because I do want to get these things off the card to display, because that's how I like to display my figures. All right, so here we go. We're pulling out number 1 of 6, and we have Bebop.
Now, this is the box I was most excited to... One of the boxes I'm most excited to open, because I didn't have most of these. Well, I didn't have half of them.
Yeah, I had less than half. I think the only figure in here that I ever owned was Rocksteady. All the rest will be new to me. I remember a friend of mine had Bebop, and I was always very jealous because I did not have
they're the
pair
two
of them,
peas of the pod.
Exactly, you know.
I had Rocksteady as well. And I even remember where I lost his knife. He comes with a knife. And I lost it at my primary school from when I was in grade 1.
Oh,
and it was in one of those...
don't take toys to school.
Sewage drains.
Oh, no!
It was down a sewage drain.
That's kind of ironic, isn't it, really?
Yep. Yes, really. Turtles stole it. But yeah, and I still remember that exact drain. I remember exactly where I was sitting.
Did you clamber down? Did you do everything you could to try and get in there, or you just gave it up for lost?
As a kid, but I haven't been there since I was a kid.
So you can see all the 6 figures that we're going to be taking a look at today on the back of the box, but that's the back of the card. That's the back. Very similar to the Turtles. Back of the Turtles. The card itself is no different at all.
Yep.
From the Turtles.
Other than showing the villains, of course.
Other than having the villains. There we go. So I always liked his trash can lid shield on Bebop. I remember that. Yep.
Wow. But I did have a Bebop when I was in high school.
Okay.
I did find one at a flea market.
Oh, nice.
Now I got to tell you, this head looks a bit weird to me.
Well, it's interesting. The pink looks weird. Well,
I think it's overdone.
Having never had a Bebop in my childhood, I can't compare, really.
So my Bebop Oh, that's right. And my Bebop, I'm
Mm-hmm.
pretty sure. Oh no, I'm thinking of a different figure. I remember I had a couple of Bebops. One
Okay.
of them was the original, like this.
Yep.
The other one was a one that transformed from.
Oh.
It transformed, and his shoulder pads were
Oh.
flippable.
Okay.
Like they flipped. As part of the mutation line of Turtles figures where they transformed. But yeah, like my one never had any accessories. He was just the figure loose.
Just loose. Yep.
And
all I remember is the trash can lid. That's the only thing I remember that my friend had with him. But there you go. The camera's sort of whiting out his face. It's a lot pinker than that. You probably saw it on
a lot pinker.
You saw it on the side cam here a bit better in the right colours.
Same as the Turtles, but just got the other characters.
Nice and chunky too.
Yeah.
I was always like that about Bebop and Rocksteady.
Yeah,
like they were big, hefty, chunky,
bigger than the
plastic
Turtles,
figures.
which is what you want.
Yep. You got a lot of like anything gives you like a lot of plastic for your money. Like,
yeah.
I always get a bit chuffed about that.
Yep. Like buying a single mouser.
yeah. Rather than getting like something like that, where it's like, ugh. All right, here we go. Number 2. What do we got? We have one of my favorites.
What is it?
The Foot Soldier.
Oh, the Foot Soldier.
I always wanted a Foot Soldier. Like I
always wanted several.
I wish.
You don't see them fighting a lone Foot Soldier.
That's right.
They come in groups, and I always thought that it was disappointing as a kid when you see Foot Soldiers on the racks.
Yep.
But they cost the same as Bebop. But in the show, they're worth like.
Yeah,
they're not
nothing.
worth they're not worth anything. They come in groups, so I felt like it should have had like a pack of 3.
Yeah, something like that would have been good. But there he is.
Instead,
I always
for
liked...
the same price, mind you.
Yeah.
I don't want to be paying $60
for no grunt
for a runt that needs troops. No.
I always liked with the Foot Soldiers how they kind of looked a bit zombie-like.
Yes.
Like they kind of hunched in their faces are elongated. They've kind of got like the weird mouth area going on, like the fabric sort of pulled, like they're opening their mouth, like. But they're all robots, obviously.
They're robots. Yep.
When you take them out and stand them up, they hunch forward. I think this guy is going to be one of the more painful ones to have stand up.
Yeah, posing. Wow.
But I always loved how the Foot Soldiers looked. I loved how the toy looked, and I never had one. And I always wished that I had a Foot Soldier. I think again, that friend that had Bebop, he had a Foot Soldier.
I did have one.
Yep.
When I got my Bebop at a flea market.
Yep.
He didn't have his shoulder pads.
Yep. His
his forearm
bracelet
pads.
things. Yep.
He didn't have them. No accessories at all.
Yep.
But it was just a ninja, and I was like, I need to get more.
Yeah.
I need to get more. I want a swarm of foot soldiers.
10 of the fuckers.
Just find some. Yep. Just go to like every flea market. You got foot soldiers. I'll buy them $2.
Yeah.
And
I think in contrast to Shredder, which we both found to be like a fairly strange, odd design choice for Shredder, I think the Foot Soldier design is like just they fucking nailed it. Like a ninja, but like kind of a weird, kind of leans into almost that weird alien. 80s, 90s kind of like gross out kind of stuff. That was so prevalent then with this zombie looking thing. I know they were robots, right? Like they weren't zombies, but they just had that look about them.
Yeah, they're mindless. You know they're mindless. But he's got a whip.
He's got a whip. He had like
he's got
ball.
a whip, and he's got like a staff with a
he
chore
does.
on it that can wrap around him. He put his arm through. So he's got
it all going on.
A bunch of accessories and a knife. Like kitted. A Bowie knife or a saliva knife. Yeah, he's surprisingly kitted out.
The staff with the chomper thing on the end, I always thought was really cool.
Yeah.
I don't know how. Like I don't know what it is. Like a fucking turtle grabber or something.
That. That's probably what it's called.
Do you remember those? Like, do you remember those? Like back in the
toy
90s?
Pickup things. Yeah, the toy with the little hands. Yeah,
with the red like claw things. Yeah, it reminds me of one of those.
I had a Terminator themed one of those.
Oh really?
It was like a Terminator hand, and it just did this. I freaking loved it. But yeah, and I've never seen the accessories for a Foot Soldier.
Oh, there you go.
I'm
glad I could accommodate.
Seen that? Yes, thank you. You spent all this money just to show me.
Yeah, just to show you what a Foot Soldier looks like.
Yep, with his kit.
All right, here we go. Next one.
Yep.
Who we got this time? It is Slash. Again, another one that I didn't have. In fact, Slash, I never even knew existed. I didn't know the character at all back in the day. I never saw him show up on the cartoon. Obviously, I missed that episode or episodes that he
I
was
missed
in.
it. I missed it too.
Never saw the figure.
He looks
I never,
totally different in the cartoon.
Not even on the store like shelves did I see the figure.
Yeah.
So I had no knowledge that this ever even existed until I looked at the contents of what was in this box all these years later, and I was like, oh, they made a Slash for this line. I love that. This is like Slash here represents what I adore about Playmates figures of this era. It's like the colors. It's the bright pink
contrast
of the weapons and accessories with this like turquoisey kind of green color. He's one of my favorite looking figures, I think.
Yeah, he is a damn good figure. And
yeah.
I never had a Slash. Always wanted one because I love that duality of having like, here's a character that's just like the Turtles, but he's evil.
Yeah.
But my first experience, I missed the episode, and he doesn't look anything like the cartoon version of Slash.
Yeah, okay.
This one looks way meaner,
right.
Way better. But I had a Turtles Adventures comic book.
Okay.
And Slash was in that.
Right, okay.
And he just had his Chris knife,
yep.
which you can see right there. I think they call it Chris.
Yep.
K-R-I-S.
That's it.
But yeah, I always wanted, because I love duality characters, like Venom and Carnage versus Spider-Man sort of thing. So I always like that this is just an evil version of these guys.
Turtle.
And they're always more badass. Like the good guy always needs more help than...
They're always a bit stronger.
You can't have... Yeah, they're always a bit stronger. You can't have one going toe-to-toe with the villain.
Yeah.
You need the group to take the villain. But yeah, Slash is one I always really loved the idea and look of, and just really wanted that figure, but never ever got it. And
no, the only my introduction to Slash was the 2012 animated series from Nickelodeon.
Yeah,
like
and he's very different in that.
He's very he looks nothing like this. He's massive. He's huge, but he's really cool. He's got his mace in that series as well, and that's the first time I ever encountered Slash as a character. Didn't really know anything about him before then, and again had no idea that they made a figure for him for this particular like for our Turtles that we remember. Because just had no knowledge of his existence. But I fucking love him. He's like he's one of the coolest looking figures, and that color scheme is just like yes.
He is.
Playmates at its peak Turtles. Is that sort of stuff. All right, here we go. What do we got now? What do we got, Scotty?
Oh,
we got the Krang. The Krang. So I did have this one, actually.
You did?
I did have Krang. Now that I see it, I remember. I had Krang. And I remember this little hose that he had.
Oh, okay.
I remember having that.
Yep.
Like, obviously, I would have got this box. And his little walker. I remember not loving the toy.
Yeah.
Because I think I didn't particularly like Krang.
Oh, okay.
Right?
Yep.
And I think if I was going to have Krang, I wanted his like big android body, you know?
Yes.
So I didn't love this particular toy, but man,
I was disappointed by the figure because he's not in his android.
For a character I didn't particularly like, I got some use out of this toy. Holy shit. He probably
Tentacle
doubled
brain.
He probably doubled as the bad guy in so many.
Oh, wow, he does have arms on this thing.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool.
I used him as a villain in so many like little imaginary plays of like with G.I. Joes and fucking not just Turtles, but anything that needed a bad guy. I'd be like, where's that fucking Krang and his robot body?
And there is what he looks like.
All
kitted up. But yeah, I remember seeing this figure on shelves and just being disappointed because Krang's in a giant android body.
Yeah, you don't ever see this on the show, do you?
You don't.
If I remember right, maybe you do.
I don't recall ever seeing this on the show. Not that I saw every episode, but I don't recall it. But I just recall seeing him on the shelf and feeling like it. No, he needs his body, which they did make.
Yeah, they did,
and they did have a hefty price tag on it.
Yeah.
So you had to buy the Krang.
Yeah, that's it.
To go in the android
because the fucking Krang I think came in the android body, but. He looked a little bit different, I think. I don't think he had the blue veins. I think he was just a plain old pink Krang.
He's just...
Which looked more like the one in the cartoon.
Yeah,
to be fair. Like
and he had sharp teeth. He's got sharp teeth here, yellow eyes.
I think the blue veins are added into this because he didn't have that going on in the cartoon.
Okay.
But I liked that.
Yeah.
The blue there.
Krang.
And
these were good guys in the original comic book.
Oh, no shit.
So yeah, the Krang were actually good guys.
Right.
It was they were the turtles
wow.
come in the original comic book. The turtles do come across them and think they're bad news. But then the turtles like break into their headquarters.
Yeah, right.
And it's not until there that they actually say, "Well, we're actually researchers.
Yeah.
We're here studying. We're not doing anything shady. We're actually good guys." And they help the turtles.
Yeah, right. Wow, they fucking turned that around,
And
didn't
yeah,
they?
yeah. They and when the show came out, and I was gobsmacked because I read the original Turtles comics. I think not last year, the year before. And it was my first time fully going through them because I had read the first 2 issues, which they aren't in.
Yeah.
But then they popped in a little bit later, so around issues I think 3 onwards.
Yeah.
For a little bit, and I was like, these guys aren't bad.
Yeah.
They're
they're
actually good guys. They're benevolent. They come in peace. And I was like, well, the show certainly changed that. He was a nasty little bugger.
No kidding. And there's more of them too in again the 2012 animated series.
Yes,
there's tons of them, you know.
But they are bad.
No, they are bad. Yeah, they're not good. I think there might be one good one eventually at some point, but. All right, who we got in here? Oh, here he is.
Bebop's partner.
Rocksteady. So Rocksteady, as I said before, is one that I did own.
Yep,
loved this figure. He was again like the big in my games of this. He was the big bad guy that they like. You know, you'd throw all 4 turtles against, and they just couldn't fucking touch him because he was this big fuck off rhino dude.
Yep.
So I can see some differences right away. Is that the wristbands on his arms are not coloured. They were originally coloured. Now they're just the same grey plastic as his arms. So that's interesting.
Were they black?
I think one was black and one was brown, maybe. I can't quite remember. But yeah, one of them was black. But other than that, he looks exactly as I remember him.
Or it was like a green, like olive, like his belt.
Maybe like his belt. Yeah. But I had the shield. I always liked his sewer plate shield. You know.
Yep. Yeah. I loved that shield. That's the only thing that survived. That survived the longest out of his accessories.
Yep.
Along with his belt, but he's always out of his belt for some reason when I played with him. But yeah, he looks. Yep, just like I remember. Yeah,
he looks now.
A different wrist
we've been saying that like some of the heads on these figures look like they're cast of a different plastic. When we were opening the turtles, we were saying that they look like their heads were made out of like a softer rubber rather than like a hard plastic. Yep. These all look like they are
proper.
The original, the same material as the bodies.
Yeah.
Which only makes the difference in the turtles' heads even more perplexing. It's like, why?
Yeah. Like, yeah, I lost his gun. I lost his knife in that sewer.
Oh, yeah.
And that's
the knife disappeared for me. I think I kept his gun for quite a while, and I think a lot of figures ended up using his gun, not just Rocksteady, but
I did have the shield, sewer shield. But the funny thing is he rarely got to use his shield because I was always using it as a sewer hatch for my turtles to lift up they could jump down the sewer hatch and close it, as opposed to what its actual purpose was for a shield for him. But
nice. Good old Rocksteady.
He looks great.
He does look great. He looks, other than the mist-coloured wristbands, he looks exactly the same.
We'll have to check that out.
All right, we've got the last one in here.
Okay.
Well,
one of my faves.
Again, another one that I never ever had.
Yeah, but always wanted.
I don't know that I did.
I did.
You did? Yeah.
Yes, I absolutely.
I don't know that
this is some of my favourite episodes. I remember distinctly remember how
there he is, Baxter Stockman.
Baxter came to be.
So I never wanted the Baxter figure.
Yep.
Because like this sort of thing was all the rage in the 90s, right? Like this gross out mutant kind of shit was, like how gross can we make our toys?
Yep.
And little boys will just eat it up and love it.
Yep.
I hated all that stuff. Hated it. I hated all the gross out stuff. And Baxter Stockman was, he's a fucking mutant fly man. Look at him. So I had no interest in him whatsoever, which is a strange thing to say when you've got all these other mutant creatures, but none of those ones looked gross. I
Yep.
found.
Yep.
Baxter looked gross. Look at him. He's like Jeff Goldblum in the fucking Fly. Like
and that's exactly why.
That's why you loved him. Yeah.
Well, no, it's actually because that was like. Oh, he does look awesome. So I loved the idea of Baxter. I loved that he was a villain that took time to appear.
Yeah.
Because he was just a scientist who got roped into working for the Shredder against his will, and he helped him out to the best he could, and then Shredder, like, after one too many fuck ups, Shredder's like, you know what, I'm done with it. I'm throwing you into I think it was disintegrator.
Yep.
You're supposed to disintegrate him into nothingness, and a fly flew in.
Yep.
And instead disintegrating them both, which it still probably would have done,
we get this.
We get this. And he wore a vest.
Yeah.
Instead, he wore a grey vest in the show. So he didn't have his lab. He didn't wear his lab coat. Or did he? I just remember the grey vest being more prominent than this.
I mainly watched the original cartoon on VHS tapes.
Yeah.
Not on on TV. And so I don't think I would have, and I would have rented them from the video store. We didn't own them.
Yeah.
And so if it was a Baxter Stockman episode, I just wouldn't have rented it.
Yeah.
So I don't know if I ever even saw him in the show
as
his Fly version, as his mutated form.
I loved it. And then, and because I do agree with you, I don't like the ones that are just made for the purpose of being made.
Yeah.
The creatures like Mutagen Man
and
stuff. I don't like. I just think it's stupid. But he had a real story and took time to eventuate.
Yeah.
So he didn't feel like he's just we're just gonna chuck nasty thing after nasty thing because kids will eat it up.
I do think it's cooler now, certainly as an adult.
But I fell even more in love with him in my teen years when I learnt. Because Jeff Goldblum's The Fly is one of my favourite movies of all time.
Yeah.
And when I found out that Baxter was based on that, I was like, I love him even more. I was just like, oh my God. They took this R-rated horror movie.
Yep.
And they
kiddified it.
Kiddified it and turned it into a toy. And,
he does have, like, one of the best sculpts, doesn't he? Like,
oh, yeah.
He's got one of the most detailed, interesting sculpts, I think, of any of the figures we've opened today. Like, there's so much stuff going on his little body, on his coat, and he's like got one
wings.
leg.
His wings and arms aren't attached. His fly wing and arms aren't attached. You have to put them.
You got to put them on.
So when you put them on, he became a much bigger figure.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Than what was in the.
But just like he's got one leg, like he's got the you can't see them, but he's got the fly legs down the bottom.
Yep.
You'll probably see it in the overlay footage, but like he just looks like whoever sculpted him.
Yeah,
had a bit of a field day. I feel
he's also an homage to the original. So the Jeff Goldblum film is a remake of the original film, which I can't remember if it was the 50s or 60s that came out. I think it's 50s. And in the original film titled The Fly, the guy in it, the fly in it, has a fly head that's human sized, and it's just a fly head.
Yeah.
They didn't make him like a space bug like the 90s movie, the Jeff Goldblum one, but he had one of his hands was a fly claw. It looked like a claw, and they had the fly head on the dude. So he's kind of an homage to that as well because he's got both human hands.
That's right.
They're not fly hands; they're human hands. But in the original Fly movie, he's got he did a body swap with the fly because the scientist has the fly head and a fly hand, and it's like how long old, so it's not too much of a spoiler. But at the end of the film, you hear this very iconic "Help me" high pitched voice, and these two people in the park hear this voice, and they turn and look, and they find a spider web, and and they see a spider moving to the center, and then it zooms into the center, and it's a fly body with a single human hand and a human head.
Yeah, nice.
Saying, help me, and looking in horror at this spider that's coming to get it. And that's when it cuts to credits.
Oh, nice.
And, it's funny, but love Baxter Stockman.
He's even got like a little...
He's got a fly swatter.
He's even got a little baby turtle splattered on his fly swatter.
Yeah, and it looks like a fly swatter.
It looks like a meat tenderizer,
waffle.
actually, like the fly swatter.
Yeah, it does look like a meat tenderizer.
That's cool.
Could be a fly swatter because they couldn't create the holes with the plastic maybe at the time.
I do think, like, I had no interest in him whatsoever as a kid, but I do think he might be one of my favourite sculpts as an adult. He looks really, really well done. Really cool.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
Nice.
Like, for me, that box is better than the Turtles box, just because I had everything in the Turtles box.
Yes, this is all
these
a lot of new here, right?
Yeah, a lot of new
that you're seeing for the first time up close and like really keen to.
Yeah, I only had half of these, and two of those I didn't get till high school. So it was I basically just had Rocksteady as a kid. And then,
well, later on we'll crack them open and we'll actually like get to have a look at them proper.
Have a play,
yeah. Cool. Well, that's gonna do it for us for this particular video. But we've got more Playmates Classic Collection Ninja Turtle stuff coming to be unboxed. We've still got some vehicles we want to get through. We've got more figures to get through. Lots and lots of good stuff coming up. But until those videos, my name has been Jamie Dean,
and I'm Scott.
And as always, make sure you keep on side scrolling. Take it easy.
Catch you.